What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from IRS International Racing Series F1 2020 on the PS4 platform. This is Season 1, Round 9 at Paul Ricard, France, where we're going to do an 18-minute short qualifying session followed by a 50% race. And as I said, this is Round 9. We're coming off of a very exciting Round 8 at Baku, where we saw a little bit of a shake-up in the points. And Logan Arond actually saw his championship points lead get cut a little bit. So coming off of last round, Morgan picked up the pole position for... I'm sorry, last time it was round 9 at Canada. I've got this all jacked up. Sorry. This is round 10 at Paul Ricard. Last time out was round 9 at Canada, not Paul Ricard, or not Baku. So round 9, we saw the points get shaken up. Tough Julian, who had a pole position back at round 7 at Monaco, picks up another pole position at Canada, but unfortunately he wasn't able to take that all the way to the house. Unfortunately, he had a DNF, but Joke the Game walked away with the win, followed by Morgan, followed by Tony First, who actually got driver of the day. And Tony First and Joke the Game, both with those podium positions finishing in front of Logan Arond, were able to close in that points gap to the championship points leader. And Joke the Game actually overtook Tony First for second position in the point standings. Askiomi was 4th, Matthias was 5th, Logan came home 6th, Barack Shalom was 7th, McLeod was 8th, Campy Touch came home 9th, and Matt Upro was 10th. That rounded out your top 10 points paying positions. Matty Santo, who had a off-track altercation with some of the drivers, a lot of trash talk in the chat. He was 11th. Ed Zaz was 12th. Cowie was 13th. And then, unfortunately, 14th through 19th were all DNFs. Tough Julian with a DNF. Some of these guys, I can't even pronounce, some jiu-jitsu or something like that. Some sort of bovine martial art, it sounds like. Luis Wassman was 16th. Anton Ruoho was 17th. Board was 18th, and Messi was 19th, and I believe Messi has been banned from the league as well. So I'm not completely up to my news and notes with this league. Unfortunately, we're still trying to work our way through it a little bit. I've got a lot to keep up with my two primaries, with SRL and IRL, so it's nothing against IRS. You are an afterthought, unfortunately. But I'm going to give it my best here as we are at Paul Ricard. And looks like the Great Equalizer is showing its ugly face. We've got rain here for qualifying. Not sure if that's going to jump over into the race, but we've got some guys heading out on the outlaps. It looks like everybody's going to give their shot at the intermediate tires. And it looks like the first one out on track is going to be this is one of the ones I can't pronounce. Bouillard. Bo. I'm just going to call him Bo. But unfortunately, he finished 18th last time out with a DNF. So he's out. We got Barack Shalom is out on track as well. McLeod coming out on track. Cowie. Matty Santo. Morgan in the Alfa Romeo, and Logan Arond, Logan, and Luis Wassman. So, for those who don't know it, Logan and Luis Wassman both run in the International Racing League as well, IRL. Now, Luis Wassman is the IRL F4 champion. Logan Arond is competing for the F3 championship. He's actually a contender in that. Now, F4 went defunct. They had to close up F4 for IRL because of the lack of driver participation, so they promoted Luis Wassman to F3, and these guys just came off of a very hectic race for IRL at Silverstone, where these two battled side by side for the 5 remaining laps of this race, and around goes Luis Wassman, trying to get that power down. Gives it a good old-fashioned pirouette, gets it going again. But Luis and Logan battled side-by-side for a number of laps during the IRL race. There was a lot of argy-bargy, a lot of bump and grind going on between the two drivers, and I'm wondering if that is going to boil over to today's race and see where that comes. So those guys doing double duty with IRL, as am I. I commentated for that race, so it was a lot of fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to call. We also have... I don't see Anton in here, unfortunately, but run down the rest of the running order. So we've got Tony Furris, Board, Barack Shalom, McLeod, Cowie, Matty Santo, Morgan, Epic, Ed Zaz, Matthias, Luis Wassman, Santer, Joke the Game, Askiomi, Noob, Esaltato, not sure who that is, haven't seen his name before. Matt U Pro and Josh M97. Going to round out 17 drivers for today's race. We've got a yellow flag at the back straightaway. Not sure who that is. But somebody's on a timed lap. We are currently watching Luis Wassman as he went purple in Sector 1. Now, no times have been set, so everybody's going to be purple, I guess, Sector 1 right now. And we had a very, very, very dark... Oh, no, a Noob is retired from the session already. Is he retired in the pits, or it looks like he's had an off on the straightaway? And we've got a couple of guys on the live chat. So James Hallworth is joining me from IRL. He's in the live chat saying Logan was a little naughty at Silverstone. And Ode28 just reminding me that Matt U Pro does have a qualifying ban for today's race, and hopefully he can also verify, I believe Messi has been banned from the league. So Santer's the first one to set a timed lap here in the wet weather. He's going 1:45.01. Matty Santos going 1:42. Cowie comes across with a 1:41.987. Luis Wassman 1:41.680. So Luis Wassman with a good time, but he's a second off. And now Morgan comes across 1:46.29. So Santer and Morgan, the only two drivers so far to crack into the 140. 6 times have been set. And Joke the Game joins the 140 club. 1:47.34, third quickest. Try and pick up Tony first now. I believe this is Tony Ritchie is his name. Third in the point standings. Right along with him here in Sector 1. You can see how treacherous it is out there right now. We had a very wet and dark race at Canada last week. And seems to be more of the same today. That dark cloud just hanging over the IRS League right now. And just like that, 12 minutes left to play in the session. And Luis Wassman is retired from the session very early on. 1:41.680, not a bad time. Currently going to be locked into that, though. So if the track seems to get a little bit more of a profound racing line and the weather starts to let up, that could cost him dearly as this goes on. And around goes Tony first. And we saw Luis Wassman do the same thing on his out lap. So I'll try to pick up, I'm just going to call him Bouillard. Unfortunately, I don't know all of these guys' names. I will work on it. Looks like he's going to pull off into the pits. So he's going to call it a day. We'll pick up Ed Zaz. Zaz came home 12th last week. And Morgan sets a new qualifying time with a 1:41.15, so he gets gone 0.4 of a second faster than Santer to take over the provisional pole position. And Joke the Game backs it up, 1:42.59, so Santer's now dropped to third, and Luis Wassman, who's retired early on in the session, is now finds himself in fifth. Meanwhile, we're watching Ed Zaz work his way around track. He's currently in Sector 3. Now, you can definitely see that there's a racing line there, but we've seen a lot of guys already have a couple of spins trying to get the power down and hitting some of these curbs. Zaz coming out of the last corner now. And a 1:43.381 for Ed Zaz. He's the first driver into the 143s, currently 10th quickest. And we'll pick up championship points leader Logan Aron. He's just starting a hot lap now. And you can just see how hard it's raining as we go on board with him. He's got a car in front of him. Now, he had a car in front of him during qualifying for the IRL race, and unfortunately that ended in tragedy when Thomas Mumford had gone off track and came back on and crossed the racing line. Logan had nowhere to go, smashed into the back end of him. And Cowie sets a time. Cowie goes 1:41.73, so really good times by a lot of these guys being set. You see Epic here. Logan is catching up to Edward Zaz. Zaz came across that line, set that 1:43. Wondering if Logan can get a little bit of a slipstream off of him. And Josh M97, the first driver to crack into the 139s, and he's cracking into the 139s by a lot. He is 0.7 of a second quicker than Morgan, who went 1:40.115. Epic really struggling for grip. You can see how twitchy the car is, trying to get that power down. He's got a slower car in front of him. And Logan is going to abort that lap because Zaz did not get out of the way. So Logan is going to dive into the pits. So we'll pick up McLeod in the other Red Bull. He's getting ready to come across the line, see what kind of time he can set as he comes down the front straightaway now. And a 1:40.070, good for McLeod. Second quickest, still 0.7 of a second off Josh M97's time of a 1:39.375. You see one of the Ferraris has come out now. Looks like that's going to be Matty Santo. And Matty, clearly on an out lap, is going to cut the track. That's the one thing I can't stand, Paul Ricard. So much runoff here. It's not even a racing track. It's a parking lot with some lines painted on it. So we've got two retirements. We've got Noob, who wasn't able to set a time, so he'll start at the back of the pack, along with Matt Upro. Matt is got a qualifying ban. Luis Wassman did set a time of a 1:41.680. Left. Well, I shouldn't say he left. He retired from the session early. I guess he thought he wasn't going to be able to do any better than that. And he qualified fourth at the time. He's now dropped all the way to 10th. So we're going to pick up Bouillard. Now, Bowie here is going purple in Sector 2, it looks like. Let's see what kind of time Bowie can set coming down to the last few corners here, right along with him. Oh, and a bit of understeer. You can hear the tires squealing. The yellow flag, Sector 1, that's right at the end of the straightaway. And a 1:43.82 for Bowie. That puts him 7th quickest so far. Good on him. We'll go back to Matty Santo. He's gone 1:42.450. Unfortunately, good enough for only 13th so far. We'll pick up Tony first. He's yet to set a time. Third in the points. He's been quick all year, but right now struggling in the wet a little bit. We saw him go around a few minutes earlier. Purple in Sector 2 as he comes down that long straightaway with the chicane in it. Around the sweeping right-hander. Down, he's going to hard brake into the carousel. Oh, the car slides out just a little bit there. 5 minutes left to play in the session. Whoa, the big twitch there coming out of Tony's car. The hard right-hander back out onto the front straightaway. And Tony first is going to come across the line, 1:39.708. Good enough to snatch second place and knock McLeod down to third. So we've got two drivers who have cracked into the 1:39 so far. Tony Ritchie in second, Josh M97 in the provisional pole position for now. McLeod Morgan dropped to third and fourth. Joke the Game is on an outlap, but he's dropped all the way to sixth from early on. And Barack Shalom coming out on a fresh set of intermediates. He has dropped all the way to 12th. He's currently on a flyer right now. See what kind of time he can set. And the Haas, his teammate, championship points leader Logan Aron, is sitting in the 15th spot, yet to set a time. In fact, he's the only driver that we're waiting on to set a time. As we spoke earlier, as we said earlier, Noob has retired from the session, and Matt Upro's got a qualifying ban for today's race from some on-track altercations last week. So Barack down the long straightaway here with the chicane in it. He's green in sector 2. And Barack looking to improve upon that time of 1:41.445, currently 13th quickest. Meanwhile, Luis Wassman, who retired early on in the session with a 1:41.680, is now the slowest timed lap that we have is Luis Wassman. And it looks like Barack is going to dive into the pits and give up on that lap. Now, he doesn't have a whole lot of time to play around in the pits. 3 minutes to go. And we'll pick up McLeod, who's gone 1:40.070. Good enough for third quickest so far. And 3 minutes left to play in the session, and we're still waiting on championship points leader Logan Aron to set a time. He's currently classified 15th, no time. Epic the Animal, that is. Logan coming off of a fourth place finish for now at the IRL F3 race just a few moments ago. Unofficially fourth. Him and Luis Wassman was 4th and 5th, and right now they are classified 14th and 15th, respectively, on the timing and scoring charts. Noob crashed out early on, and Matt Upro's got a qualifying ban, so Epic is the last driver that would have the ability to set a time. And we see Matthias is now gone 1:39.401. He was purple in Sector 3 to get him that time. So good on him. Try to pick up Cowie, see where he's at, Sector 1. Oh, and Santer just came across the line, 1:39.528. He goes purple in Sector 3. And we're going to pick up Logan. Logan's cutting this awfully close. Logan currently on an out lap. And he's actually in the Sector 1 section. He's going to come across the line with not a lot of time to play with. So we'll keep an eye on Logan Aron and Tony Ritchie. Those are your two, well, I shouldn't say those are your two. Those are two of the three championship contenders. Logan is your points leader. Tony Ritchie is third. Joke the Game is second in points now after last week's win at Canada. So good on him. Currently sixth quickest. Got a lot of drivers on out laps, and out laps will count. Well, I mean, I should say hot laps will count once the time is up. Logan letting another car go by. Logan's going to try and give himself as much running room as possible. And Matthias has just gone 1:39.261. New provisional pole time by Matthias in the Mercedes. Meanwhile, Epic is getting ready to start his hot lap. He's going to come across the line with about 20 seconds left to spare. And Santer goes 1:38.715. First driver to crack into the 1:38s. We're going to ride along with Logan Aron, championship points leader, see what kind of time he can set. And Santer's going to call it a day. He knows he can't do any better than that, and he's the only driver into the 1:38 so far. Yellow flag starting to fly now, Sector 1. Uh-oh, and Logan... Did Logan invalidate his lap time? Track is red. If Logan invalidated his lap time, that is bad news bears for Logan because he has not been able to set a time. He's going to start deep in the field. We'll pick up Tony Ritchie. Ritchie currently 6th quickest so far. Does he have anything for the front runners trying to improve his time? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Didn't mean to leave Tony here as he's coming through the last corner now. And Joke the Game is going 139, 128. Tony is not able to improve his time or position. Josh M97, who was on provisional pole for a long time, has now fallen to 5th as Morgan has gone 2nd quickest. Who else do we have out there? Askeomi coming through the last couple of corners. Matty Santos is going to come across the line, but he is not going to have anything to give. Askeomi was the last one able to possibly set a time, and he's going to dive into the pit, so he's not going to improve his time either. And I think that's going to do it. Nobody else is going to be on a timed lap, so bad news for Logan Around Epic, the Animal Championship points leader. Does not set a time, and he's going to be starting deep in the field. And I'm telling you, the irony here is that Logan Aron and Luis Wassman are going to be starting in 14th and 15th, and those two just went round for round, lap after lap at Silverstone in the IRL International Racing League F3 race. So I don't know if any of that is going to boil over in today's race or not, but that literally just wrapped up about 30 minutes ago. These guys jumped from one league to another to get in here to do this race, and they finished 4th and 5th at Silverstone, battling each other all the way to the end, and now they're going to start 14th and 15th, and that's going to be an interesting one to watch. And the other thing we want to keep an eye out on is if guys like Joke the Game and Tony Ritchie can both finish in front of Logan and close in that points gap even more. So Joke coming off of a win at Canada last time out of round 9, and I know I've got the heading wrong on this on the stream. This is supposed to be round 10. So here's your starting position. Santer with the pole position, followed by Morgan, Joke the Game, Matthias, Josh M97, McLeod is 6th, Tony Ritchie is 7th, Cowie is 8th, Askeomi is 9th, and Board is 10th. Matty Santos 11th, Barack Shalom is going to be 12th, Ed Zaz is going to be 13th, Luis Wassman 14th, Logan Arand is going to be 15th, and then Noob is Isaltato. I don't know. Noob, whatever his name is. Noob is going to be 16th. Matt U Pro had the qualifying ban, was not able to set a time. So we'll get set for a 50% race, and it looks like it is nice and sunny outside, and everybody's going to have free range of tire choice since they all qualified on the intermediate tires, and it doesn't look like weather is going to be much of a factor today. So tire strategy could be key. Do the front runners run the softs to the mediums to the softs? Do the guys in the back try to run an alternate tire strategy to see if they can undercut drivers moving forward? This should be interesting, especially with championship points leaders starting so deep in the back of the field. And after the race at Silverstone between Luis Wassman and Logan Arand, those guys, I mean, Luis definitely showed that he's got speed to keep up with the championship points leader. Meanwhile, guys like Joke the Game have really upped their game, literally, in the past couple of weeks now. McLeod, Morgan, definitely showing some prowess. He had a podium back last week. He won the week before, so he's got, round 8 he won at Baku. So Morgan won round 8. He got pole position last week, or he got pole position at round 8. Won that round. Comes home second. So we'll run down the running order one more time. Santer with the pole position, going to be looking to try and keep it there. And we were just talking about Morgan and Team Alfa Romeo, really, as Morgan and Joke the Game really stepped up the last couple of weeks. Joke winning that race, Morgan winning round 8. And then you've got Matthias, who's actually been pretty quick so far this year as well. Josh M97 showed some great speed on the intermediates. He held the provisional pole position for a long time during qualifying, only dropped to 5th. McLeod has shown some speed this year as well, starting in the 6th spot. And then Tony Ritchie is third in points. We know he's got speed. Going to be starting in 7th. Cowie will be starting in the 8th position, followed by Asciomi. See if those guys can work their way through the field, maybe put some points on the board for their teams. Bowie is going to be starting in 10th, and then we've got Matty Santo with the Ferrari going to be starting in the 11th spot. And then here's the interesting one. You've got Barack Shalom in the Haas starting in front of his teammate and championship points leader Logan Arand. Could Barack maybe help his teammate out? He's going to be starting on the hard tires, it looks like. And you can see, here we go with the tire detail up, you can see some of these guys starting on the soft mediums and hard, so it's going to be a mixed bag all the way around. Starting in 13th is going to be Ed Zaz. And then you've got Luis Wassman. We know Wassman has speed. He's an IRL F4 champion. He just came off of a 5th place finish at Silverstone for the IRL F3 race. He's got a podium to his credit back at Monaco round 7. Then you've got points leader Logan Aron starting in the 15th spot. Going to have his work cut out for him big time today to try and work his way through the field and put some points on the board. Noob unfortunately crashed out for qualifying, wasn't able to put a time on the board. And then Matt Pro is going to be rounding out your 17 drivers for today's 50% Grand Prix race. Wasn't able to set a time because of a qualifying ban from his actions at Canada last week. So we'll see what happens today for this 27-lap venture. Should be another exciting race. So the grid's set. We wait on the 5 red lights. Lights are out. Time to run what you brung, and it's a great start for, who was that? Santer to get away. Morgan looks like he's going to try and get up on his teammate. And the timing and scoring gets all screwed up as it always does. Thank you, Code Masters. You still can't get your crap straight. And Santer's off and running, and it looks like Josh M97 has picked up a couple of spots. He got past Joke the Game and Matthias. And what has happened to Morgan? I'm trying to find Morgan. Looks like Morgan, okay, Morgan did skip away. He's going to hold on to the 2nd spot. Josh M97 moves up. And it looks like, oh my goodness, here we go. Tony Ritchie making a move on Cowie to try and take that 7th position. Cowie's going to get bumped and go around. Luckily, there's so much runoff here, you can land a 747 on the frickin' runway. And Cowie's going to get up and going. And it looks like Logan Aranda's had a difficult start. Started deep in the field as it was in 15th. Had an issue, I guess, on the opening couple of corners all the way back to 17th spot. Meanwhile, there is a battle going on up here at the front. This is Josh M97. Oh, the front end washes out on him. Looks like he was trying to close in that gap to Morgan. And Morgan trying to close that gap down to Santer. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, 13th. Everybody is within DRS range of each other. I don't know if it'll stay that way the next couple laps when DRS becomes available, but right now everybody's going to be able to slipstream off of each other. With the exception of Santer. Santer's been able to scoot away to the tune of 1.3 seconds so far over Morgan. Now Morgan's got a little bit of a gap back to Josh M97, but it really gets tight down here. Matty Santo all over the back of Board. And it looked like Luis Wassman, I'm sorry, it wasn't Wassman, it was Asciomi getting pressure from Matt Pro. And Matt had the qualifying ban, started dead last. He's worked his way up to 12th so far. we're going to pick up Matty Santo. Matt Upro trying to make a move. Gets in front of Asciomi. He's going to set his sights on Luis Wassman to get into the points. And a good start for Luis Wassman. Started 14th, already up into the points. So good on him. Matty Santo making a move to get around board here. And Noob Esatolto is just picked up a 3-second time penalty. He's currently running in the 14th spot. He's got Ed Zaz all over the back of him. And Zaz has got Epic the Animal, Logan Aron, championship points leader, all over the back of him as well. So a lot of battles going on track here in the opening number of laps. They're going to be coming across the line now to start lap 3. And DRS slots are going to be available. The DRS advantage for a lot of these drivers right now. And look at Josh M97. He's all over the back of Morgan. Morgan with a big twitch coming out of that corner. Well, Josh is going to want to hang tough with him, close up that gap, and get all over that gearbox coming out of this next couple quarters here to get a good run down that straightaway before he gets to the chicane. Gets that power down. Morgan runs a little wide off into the paint. And here we go. Great run by Josh as we run down the straightaway. They're side by side. But with the DRS, there's nothing that Morgan can do. Josh is going to easily take that spot. And he is off to the races, boy. Does he have anything for Santer? He's going to try and close in that gap next. Meanwhile, we've got this gaggle of cars back here. Everybody kind of knows the tail. Currently watching Matthias try and close in on Joke the Game. Pick up that 4th spot, but he's got McLeod within striking distance as well. You see there's 3 cars in the frame there. Meanwhile, it looks like Noob is going to try and make a move on Barack Shalom. He's all over the back of him. Oh, man, look at the inside. Here comes Cowie. Cowie wants to be a part of this fight, too. And Noob loses the spot as he was trying to get around Barack. And here comes Epic. Epic going to try and close in on that and get a part of this. Noob picks up a 3-second time penalty. And this is a 4-car train for 1 spot. This is going to get a little hairy as they come down to this section here. Meanwhile, Ed Zaz has lost touch with this group. He's now 2 seconds behind. You see Epic trying to get that power down. He's all over the gearbox of the Ferrari in front of him. And Logan gets it. He's got the DRS advantage. And look at that. Cowie trying to snake his way down the straightaway to break up that slipstream. Epic not able to make a move heading into the chicane. Can he make a move coming out of it? Whoa! And Epic! Oh, man! Huge hit into the... Oh, man, Logan trying to get the power down a little too early. Lost the back end of the car. I'm surprised he went into the arm car. I'm surprised the car's still intact. He's obviously got wing damage, and he'll have to pit to switch that over. And a tough break for Logan, man. Having a rough go here the last couple races. We're going to go back to this battle for 4th. This is Joke the Game. He's got Matthias breathing down his neck. And right on the back of his gearbox is McLeod. He got 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. All in a row here. All the way back to 8th. Lots of action going on here in the opening number of laps. We're only working lap 5 of 27. Meanwhile, Santer's pulled out to a 2.1 second lead. And it looks like Joke's got a good run coming out of that corner. Morgan ran a little wide coming out of that corner again. He does that one too many times. He's going to get a 3-second time penalty. Here comes Joke. He's closing up on his teammate. He's going to be able to make the pass before he gets to the braking zone. No, he's not. Gets the power back down coming out of that corner. Matthias not close enough to make a move. He's going to hang tough going through the carousel. At least that's what I call it. Meanwhile, Logan has pitted from the 17th spot for a set of hards and a fresh wing. And it looks like Board, what's going on with Board here? Oh, and Matty and Cowie got some shuffling going on here in the back. So Matthew Pro works his way into the 11th spot, getting around Cowie. Cowie trying to hold him off. Meanwhile, Joke the game once again. Oh, and Board picks up a 3-second time penalty. Time penalties could be a real issue here. And you see Morgan runs that wide line coming out of there. Now, he didn't put all four across the line that time, but he's really able to take that corner pretty well, gap his teammate just a little bit, and you see Joke's going to try it again. He pulls out a line, thought about it, not close enough to make the move. Meanwhile, Cowie and Matthew Pro still going to be side by side with each other. Cowie's going to get around him this time. Cowie's going to retake that 11th spot. Meanwhile, Asciomi is loving this because he's able to drive comfortably in the 10th spot. Luis Wassman, shout out to him, started in the 15th position, has worked his way up into 9th. Meanwhile, Josh M97, he has closed that gap to Santer by about 9/10 of a second. And then you've got this gaggle of cars back here. Now, I don't know if there's any team orders between the two Alfa Romeo cars. They did wonderful last week at Canada, getting into the top podium positions. And this is the closest Joke has been really through this section here. Now, can he hang tough and stay there? Matthew Pro just picked up a 3-second time penalty as well, battling with Cowie for the 11th spot. And again, Morgan takes that little bit wider line. Matt's putting a little bit more steering into it. Morgan picks up a 3-second time penalty, though, and that's what I was talking about, running wide in those two corners there. But once again, Joke is not going to be able to make the move before the braking zone. And for what it's worth, I don't know if Joke wants to make that move. I don't know if they're playing a little bit of team strategy right now or not, but it looks like Noob is going to lose a spot to Board. That's back in 15th and 14th. Meanwhile, Matthias is all over this battle as well. He's brought McLeod with him, but these guys haven't been able to make a move on top of one another. The two Alfa Romeos have been maintaining that 4/10 of a second gap with one another. Matthias hasn't exactly closed in on this much. Now that time down the front straightaway, it looked like Jake wanted to try and make a move heading into turn one. And Cowie picked up a 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile, we've got Asciomi trying to work his way a little bit higher up into the points. We've got a 3-car battle here. Luis Wassman in that McLaren for 9th. And here comes Cowie. Cowie wants to be a part of this, and I thought he was going to try and dive bomb in on Asciomi. Meanwhile, Matthias just got by Morgan. Matthias just got by Morgan to take over the 4th spot. So now Matthias finds himself the meat in the middle of an Alfa Romeo sandwich. And can he bring McLeod with him? McLeod is going to be all a part of this battle as well. Meanwhile, Josh M97 was able to close up the gap a little bit to Santer. Santer's going to dive into the pits. So that's going to hand the lead over to Joke the Game. He's going to be the new leader of this race. Now it's up to the pit crew. Santer and Josh both into the pits. Josh switches over to the hard tires. Looks like Santer's going to be able to get out in front of him just by a little bit. Good work by the Racing Point pit crew. And drops Santer all the way back to the 14th position. Josh is all the way back to 15th. And unfortunately, Logan is out. Logan is out running circuits and doing what Logan does. Meanwhile, the battle here between Joke the Game, Matthias, and Morgan has yet to let up. These three guys have been racing with each other since the drop of the green flag, but unfortunately, the only move that's really been made was Matthias over Morgan to pick up at the time what was the third spot. He's now into second as the two front runners have pitted. Matty Santo has quietly worked his way into the 5th position, and Tony Ritchie is up to 6th. And Wassman is making a move on Asciomi as they go side by side coming out of the corner. And Tony Ritchie picks up a 3-second time penalty. Look at Wassman swing across the front nose of Asciomi's Renault. And Wassman is up into the 7th position. Good for Luis Wassman. He's now going to set his sights on Tony Ritchie and that 6th place car. Wassman's got a head of steam coming down the front straightaway. To the inside, he's going to push him wide, there's contact, and Wassman hanging tough, and back to the inside. Great defensive driving. And now Tony is going to be subject to another onslaught. Here comes Asciomi. Oh, and he made contact, and Asciomi's going to go around. And there's contact between him and Cowie. Cowie's going to skate through. Asciomi's going to lose another position. Barack Shalom trying to overtake him now. Shalom all over the gearbox of Asciomi as he tries to recover from his contact and spin. Shalom to the inside. Takes the position, and Asciomi trying to hang tough, loses out, and he's now outside of the points. Unbelievable driving and a bit of an advantageous move of Asciomi to try and make that spot. So Luis Wassman can breathe a sigh of relief for a hot second now. He's got a little bit of a gap over Cowie. And it looks like Tony Ritchie dived into the pits, and he's going to lose a number of spots. Matt Upro in the pits, Tony first in the pits. Ed Zaz is going to gain a couple of spots because of that. Meanwhile, Asciomi and Santer now. Santer's going to get by him. Santer on the fresher tires. Santer was the leader of this race to the tune of 1.3 seconds. First of the front runners to make a pit stop, switch over to the hard tires. Everybody else is out on the medium, still running a longer first stint. And then you've got Luis Wassman, who started on the hards. He's already worked his way into the 6th spot. He can run a very long first stint, so he's going to switch to possibly hards to softs towards the end of this race, or hards to mediums, depending on how long he runs that first stint on those hard tires. And Barack is not done. Barack looking to make a move for the 9th position now. And this 4-car battle hasn't given up into the inside. Here comes Santer. Santer trying to muscle his way through on those fresher tires. And Barack has to drive through the painted. Oh my goodness, and a big twitch there. Asciomi is not having any of this. Oh, and once again, Barack gets pushed wide, comes back across the line. And that was some crazy, crazy driving there for a couple of laps. Actually, mostly for the last quarter of that lap. Meanwhile, Bowie dives into the pits. Tony Ritchie able to pick up a spot after his pit stop because Bowie went in, so that's going to move Tony into the 13th position. Meanwhile, all of this is going on, and all of these pit stops are being made, and unfortunately, no headway for Logan Arand, your championship points leader. This is really going to hurt him in the point standings, especially if Joke the Game walks away with the win of this race. Now, he's got 3.1 second gap over his teammate Morgan. These guys have separated themselves a little bit. Matty Shanto quietly worked his way into the third spot. And look at Luis Wassman. He's up into fourth. He's brought Cowie with him. Now, these two aren't necessarily... Right now, they're not hardcore battling with each other. But he did bring him along, and it looks like Santo's going to dive into the pit. So is Joke. So Morgan is going to take the lead of this race. But Luis Wassman, now these guys are going to start battling with each other because this is the battle for the lead of this race. Because Morgan is going to have to pit. Luis Wassman is able to stay out. And he's on those hard tires. How far can he run those hards? And Cowie's on those mediums. How long is Cowie willing to run the mediums before they really start giving up on him? And Barack Shalom just picked up a 3-second time penalty. And he's still in the back battling it out here with Santer. He's got Ascioni all over the back of him for the battle for 6th spot. But we're watching Luis Wassman right now trying to hold off a hard-charging Cowie. And while these two are battling it out, Josh M97 is starting to reel him in like the expert fisherman that he is. Josh M97 taking chunks of time out of them out of the first sector. And Santer is coming with him, so... Meanwhile, we've got ourselves a little bit of a battle here. This is, the two Alfa Romeos being pursued by another driver, and they almost touched there. This is right now we're watching Joke the Game with Ascioni. Oh, when Josh M97 has left the session, what has happened there? His car's going to go ghost. So internet issues possibly for Josh M97. And we know that the AI cars are going to lose a big chunk of time. So Josh is going to start losing position. Santer's going to move up into third. Meanwhile, who is pitted? This is Morgan is pitted from the second spot. I'm sorry, Morgan is pitted from the lead of this race. That hands the lead over to Luis Wassman. Meanwhile, Ascioni and Joke going back and forth with each other. Joke trying to take that position. He's up in the 5th. Ascioni is 6th now. And look at the Mercedes. Here comes Matthias with a big run down the inside. DRS slot open and all. And Barack battling it out with Joke now. Joke able to gap him at the chicane, but look at Matthias, man. Matthias is on a tear. Noob picks up a 3-second time penalty, but right now that doesn't matter. Finally, oh, and there's contact almost in between the Haas of Barack Shalom and Joke. As they go side by side through the carousel, and Barack's going to lose the back end of the car. Here comes Matthias. He's side by side with him now. And around the outside of the sweeping left-hander, and they make a little bit of contact. Barack's going to try and push him wide. Matthias trying to come back on the inside. Is going to be very tight coming through his last couple of corners here. Out onto the front stretch. Now Matthias is going to have the DRS advantage. And that's going to make Barack a sit and duck. Barack's got the DRS. Down this front straightaway, and he's able to hold him off just for now. Morgan making a move around McLeod heading into turn 1. That's going to move Morgan back into the 8th spot. Meanwhile, we're going to go back to this battle between Matthias and Barak. That's Shalom trying to hold off Matthias. Could be pronounced Mateus. I don't know. We're going to ride on board with him either way. Barak's going to try and snake his way down the straightaway, break up that slipstream. Matthias is going to try and go deep on the brakes onto the outside. And he's going to try and sneak his way in. Oh, and they make contact again. Left front to right rear. Power down for Matthias, and here he comes with a head of steam. He's side by side with him as they head into the sweeping right-hander. Oh, there's a lot of argy-bargy going on. Here comes Askiomi. Ooh, and under braking, Shalom trying to make up for it. And it looks like we're going to try and get Josh M97 back into the race here, as it looks like Luis Wassman and Cowie have finally pitted from the top 2 spots. And I'll see what I can do to get Josh back into this race. So the only way that's going to work is if Josh sends me a friend request. I accept the friend request, and then I can invite him back into the race. And while all that is transpiring, hopefully we can make that happen. Josh's car has fallen back into the 10th spot, and he's losing ground. So if Leteski, if you are watching, you've got to get Josh to friend request me. Actually, I wonder... Oh, here we go. I can do this. We'll try and get Josh M97 back in here. Come on, PlayStation 4. Here we go. I'll send Josh a friend request. I can make that happen. And sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. And now, back to the action. I think I can only invite him. Ooh, I can take control. No, I can't take control of this car. That'd have been fun, huh? So anyways, after the pit sequence, let's get a little bit of a rundown here of what's going on. Joke the game back out in front. 11 laps to go in this race. Back out in front, he's got Santa in hot pursuit of him, 1.3 seconds behind. Matthias, who's been on a tear the last couple of laps, got around Morgan for 3rd. Askiomi hanging tough in the 5th position, but he's got Barak, Shalom, and McLeod all over the back of him. McLeod's got that DRS slot open, thinking about making a move on Barak as they head down into the chicane. No, but he thought about it, but he couldn't make it work. Matty Santos dropped back into 8th. Tony Ritchie is 9th. Board is 10th. And Luis Wassman, who's on a fresh set of mediums, and he's going to run them to the end, is all over the back of Board for the 10th spot. Luis Wassman going to be the one to watch. Meanwhile, while all this has happened, we're trying to get Josh M97 back in here. I've sent him a friend request. If he can accept my friend request, I can get him back into this race, but right now his car's AI and has dropped all the way back to 12th. Meanwhile, Epic the Animal, your championship points leader, Logan Arond, is in the 16th position and not a factor in today's race, unfortunately. But side by side, Shalom and McLeod going blow for blow, and it looks like McLeod's finally going to prevail and get around him. Sets his sights on the 5th position, Askiomi. Lap 18 of 27, and it looks like Luis Wassman has just gotten around Board. Cowie just ran the fastest lap of this race. Luis Wassman's going to be a driver to watch. He's on the freshest tires, with the exception of Callie. Now, Callie's on softs, though. Now, Callie just got around Josh's car. Josh's car, again, is AI. Trying to get him back into this race. Meanwhile, Matthias now is closed up to Santer. This is the battle for second. Matthias has been on a tear, setting some qualifying lap times, trying to close the gap down to some of these drivers. Ed Zaz picks up a 3-second time penalty. Looks like Luis Wassman still battling it out with Board. Board hanging tough on those slightly worn hard tires. Meanwhile, Asciomi's just lost a couple of spots here. This is Matty Santo and Barack Shalom. Asciomi's going to dive into the pits. Matthew Pro has just retired from this race. And it looks like we've got ourselves a virtual safety car. Not sure where he's gone off at. It looks like coming out of the high-speed right-hander at the end of the straightaway. This is bad news bears for some of these guys. So Matthew Pro is done for the race, unfortunately. Now it looks like Asciomi has dived into the pits. Some of these guys are going to dive into the pits. Board's going to dive into the pits as well. Epic going to take his chances and dive into the pits. See if he can make some headway. Epic going to throw on some soft tires. He's going to go for some hot laps towards the end of this race. See if he can do some sort of damage control and try and work his way into the points and put some points on the board. Lucky for him, the virtual safety car is just now ending as soon as he can get back out on track. So he's going to be full throttle, full blast. And here comes Matthias side by side with Santer as they head down towards the sweeping right here at the end of the straightaway. Matthias is hanging tough on the inside. Santer on the outside. And Matthias is going to prevail. Big time pass for Matthias on Santer. And now Morgan's going to try and set his sights on Santer to see if he can get himself back into the podium position. This is the closest battle on track right now. This is Santer on Matthias down. Matthias made the pass, but Santer's not going down quietly and without a fight. Morgan wants to be a part of this as well, so we got ourselves a 3-car battle for 2 spots on the podium. Who wants it the most with 7 laps left to go? McLeod looks like he's trying to sneak his way into this battle as well. He's only 2 seconds behind. Oh, and a 3-second time penalty for Logan Aron. So insult to injury. His day can't possibly get any worse. Meanwhile, Matthias is holding off a hard-charging Santer. Santer got past, but he's not going down without a fight, but he did pick up a 3-second time penalty, so that's going to hurt him big time. Now, obviously, timing penalties are going to be a factor at the end of this race. They usually are. Real quick, look at this. Asciomi is going to make a move. He's going to get by Noob for the 11th spot. We're back to the battle for second and third here. It's the second, third, and fourth. Who wants it most? Meanwhile, the virtual safety car was a slight blessing for Joke the Game. Joke was able to gap Matthias a little bit onto the virtual safety car when it went back to green. So and Matthias was able to gap Santer that time around as well. So Morgan and a 3-second time penalty for Bowie. Now Barack Shalom is pitting from the 8th position, so Luis Wassman moves up into 8th. So a lot of these guys, looks like they're going to switch over to the soft tires. Getting a little cloudy out, though. 6 laps to go, and the clouds are starting to roll in. Could rain be a factor towards the very end of this race? Be quite interesting to see. Now, rain was a factor obviously during qualifying, so we'll see what happens. A lot of these guys are going to switch over to these soft tires. We got this big 3-car battle, and look at how far outside Santer goes to break up that slipstream so Morgan can't take advantage of it. And I just want to hop on board real quick, get kind of an idea of what the skyline looks like, and it is dark and cloudy. You can see the stuff blowing in the air, so the wind is a-blowing. As we ride along with Morgan all over the gearbox of Santer. He could just get a good run, get the power down coming out of that corner, and get this DRS slot open. He could make a move, but Santer does it better. Santer able to gap him. And Santer's got that DRS, and he's closing up on Matthias. Matthias hanging tough, takes away the defensive line. They're going to go side by side through the corner. And that was a close one. Santer trying to make that move. Oh, that looked like almost contact there between those two. And now Morgan's going to go around the outside of Santer. And there's some argy-bargy there as they grind wheels together. Morgan's going to get a run coming out of this corner here. And he's got the DRS slot open. So does Santer, but Morgan's got a head of steam. He's got full Rich going. Tries to pull out. Tries to bait him, but he doesn't. Santer doesn't fall for it. And Morgan picks up a 3-second time penalty. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens for second, third, and fourth here. You know, you never know. McLeod's been riding in that 5th spot. He's got Matty Santo behind him. Matty's closing in on that, 1.2 seconds. But you never know with these timing and scoring penalties. Somebody in 5th spot might find themselves standing on a podium position at the end of this race. So Joke the Game, no, Joke the Game is out in front to the tune of 4.8 seconds. And if Joke the Game walks away with the win today, that is going to put him right neck and neck with Logan. Logan not able to put any points on the board today is going to hurt him bad. In fact, what do the standings look like? Let's try and get the standings up here real quick. So the standings as of right now, coming into this race, Epic had a 20-point lead over Tony First and a 21-point lead over Joke the Game. So if things finish the way they are, Joke the Game could be the new points leader. And we see Morgan has gotten around Santer. And while those two have been battling it out, Matthias was able to gap them a little bit. So now it's not a 3-car battle for the last 2 spots. It's a 2-car battle for the last spot on the podium. Santer all over the gearbox. Almost looks like he may have given him a NASCAR bump and run trying to get to the inside. Can't make it stick. And McLeod is closing in on this battle. Now, Santer's got a few more laps on his hard tires than the guys in front of him behind him, but not enough that I wouldn't think it would make a whole lot of difference as to what is going on. Working lap 24 of 27. And Joke the Game will be the championship points leader at the end of this race to the tune of about 4 points, which is really unfortunate for Logan Arond. And I want to give a shout out to Logan and Ed Zaz, though. I mean, they've had a very difficult day, especially Logan. Logan's day started terrible in qualifying. He wasn't able to put up a time, and rough start, fell all the way to the back of the pack. got knocked around a little bit, but props to Logan. He is stuck with it. He hasn't retired the car. He hasn't rage quit. Same with Ed Zaz. Zaz is still in the race, making his rounds, and I appreciate that from guys like that in his position. Same can be said for some of the other guys outside the points. Noob, still battling it out for 12th, and Noob goes around trying to get the power down, so commentators curse. So he resets himself back to the track, not used to that. And Luis Wassman, what's happened to Luis Wassman? He just lost a couple of spots. He was running 8th. He's now down to 10th. I know Cowie and Asciomi had the soft tires on, so I guess Luis Wassman wasn't able to hold them off. And while all this was going on, it looks like the battle for third is finally settled. Santer has not been able to keep pace with Morgan. So look at this. Cowie's going to head into the pits. Oh, and Cowie's going to retire the car? That's silly. Why would you retire the car when you're in the points? And that's all of that's been a bit of a blessing for Logan Aron. So Logan finds himself in 12th. Now, granted, he's 7 seconds behind Bowie, but you don't know what's going to happen in these next couple laps. Logan might find himself in the points, especially with the timing and scoring some of the time penalties that could be assessed at the end of this. So we got a yellow flag sector 1 that was down into turn 1. I don't know, the whole gaggle of cars going down in there now. Is that Ed Zaz that was having issues? Or was that Cowie that was retiring the car? Unbelievable. But while all that's going on, Santer now finds himself 2 laps to go, and he's losing ground to McLeod and Matty Santo. These guys are coming with a head of steam, so Santer finds himself maybe in danger of losing a couple of more spots, and McLeod being able to capitalize on this. And Noob picks up another 3-second time penalty. And Epic is closing the gap down to Bowie. It's now 6.5 seconds, which means he's also closing the gap down to his teammate Barak Shalom. Shalom, if he wanted to be a good teammate, would try and hold up Bowie, let him close that gap, and maybe let Logan get a point on the board, but that's a lot to do. It's a lot of time to hold somebody up in only a lap and a half. So Santer picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that's going to be a very costly one because at this point, he's in danger of losing 2 positions as it is on track. He could lose more after the fact. And Matty Santo makes the move on McLeod. Now, McLeod was looking to make a move on Santer, wasn't looking at his mirrors. Matty Santo takes advantage of that, makes the move on McLeod, and now Matty Santo wants to take over that 4th spot from Santer. 3-second time penalty to Tony Ritchie. And a shout-out should go to Tony Ritchie as well. Because of Logan's problems today, Tony's going to find himself... he's still going to find himself second in the points. So I guess that doesn't matter. But Tony, keep up the good fight. You're still in the championship contention. Meanwhile, Matty Santo to the inside of Santer. He's going to easily take that heading down into turn 1. And Matty Santo with an epic drive into the 4th position. Final lap of this race, and McLeod's not done with Santer. He wants to try and get by him. But right now, it is all about Joke the Game. Out in front to the tune of 5.7 seconds. And Joke is going to walk away from France, round 10, as your new points leader. And this has been, I've only been doing this for them for a few weeks now. This has been a fairly exciting season to see how this has unraveled. I won't be able to make it for the rest of the races of the season. I'll be able to make some, just not all of them. But obviously I wasn't able to make the ones prior to round 7 at Monaco. So I'll try and make as many races as I can. But right now this is all about round 10. I know I've got it listed wrong as round 9 on the stream, but we'll get that fixed after the fact. But here comes Joke the Game. He's going to walk away with the points lead. Here comes Matthias, a hard-fought, well-deserved second-place finish. Morgan finds himself on the podium again. Matty Santo with a good fourth-place finish, followed by Santer. Santer's able to hold off McLeod. And now the time penalty is going to start coming in. Asciomi is going to be 7th. And look at that, time penalties, big time. Look at this. Morgan all the way from 3rd to 6th. McLeod finds himself on the podium in front of Matty Santo and Santer. So a surprise podium for McLeod. Barak Shalom is going to be 9th. Tony Ritchie drops to 10th. Epic's going to come across the line. And Epic finds himself in the points. That's big news. Epic finds himself in the points up into 9th. So, Joke the Game is not going to find himself as the points leader. He's going to be tied with Epic, leaving this weekend, I believe. Epic may still have a 1-point lead. That is unbelievable. So, Epic, damage control, job done, was able to put some points on the board. Told you time penalties were going to be a factor at the end of this race. Driver of the day, Matty Santo. I totally agree with that. He drove a great race. Came home with a 4th place finish. I love you. So congratulations to Joke the Game, and that is the 2nd race in a row that he has won, and he now finds himself in championship contention with Logan Arand at the end of this race. That is a big time win for Joke the Game, making his presence known these past couple of weeks. He's definitely upped his game. So here are the unofficial results for today's race. Joke the Game, the winner. Matthias with a hard-fought, well-deserved 2nd place finish. McLeod finds himself in a surprise podium finish. Matty Santo, driver of the day, coming home 4th. Santer falls all the way to 5th. Morgan falls all the way from 3rd to 6th. Asciomi is 7th. Luis Wassman 8th. Epic the Animal, them two just can't separate each other. Finishes 9th. Barak Shalom is 10th. Tony Ritchie falls out of the points, so he will now be 3rd in the point standings. Bowie is going to be in 12th. Noob is 13th. Ed Zaz is 14th. Josh M97, unfortunately, we couldn't get him back in the race. His car will be credited with 15th place finish. 16th and 17th is going to be Cowie, Matt Upro. Matt Upro crashed out early on. Cowie retired the car when he was in the points. So I don't know why he did that, but he's hurting himself and not anybody else. So, unbelievable race today. And I do look forward to doing this again. So, guys, this has been quite the race. This has been IRS International Racing Series F1 2020 on the PS4 platform. This has been Season 1, Round 10 at Paul Ricard, France. And I'm KAMIKAZE-FOX. Guys, be sure to tune in, like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. We're trying to get it up and running and get this league a little bit more reputable. So be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. And we'll try and keep up with all the news, notes, and results going into the next round. And again, I will not be able to make every race this season, but I will try to make as many as possible moving forward. And hopefully we'll see you guys the next round in next week. So be smooth, be fast, be clean. We'll see everybody at the next round.